and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network, Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. I am Flannel Sam, filling in for the esteemed Neil Rule, who is off in Pittsburgh, getting ready to announce an NCAA tournament game tomorrow, Oakland versus Kentucky. So obviously, we wish him well in that, and we hope that he's having a great time. But to my left, of course, is four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty. And I know you had some words you wanted to say before we really get it going.
Yeah, no, I'd take this time, and a lot of people have seen that it's come out in the last 24 hours. Lost a brother, Chris Simon, former tough guy in the NHL. Unfortunately, I played with him in Calgary. I played against him my whole junior career. He was a teammate of Chris Draper's. Guy who's well-traveled, well-respected, well-loved, one of the toughest human beings that I know that tragically took his own life. So this goes out to everybody out there who's suffering and struggling. I appreciate everybody who's reached out to me just to make sure to see that I was okay. But it just goes to show you life's fragile. And it doesn't matter. So if you need help, just remember you're not alone. Chris Simon was such a great guy, but he had, obviously his own demons. And I just wanted to say I love you, Si, and we'll see you down the road somewhere. So a guy that was loved by all his teammates, played against him most of my life, battled with him and stuff like this, but just a great man. So I wanted to start that there just and let everybody know that you're not alone. If you are having any thoughts like that, please reach out to somebody. So you are loved. And now that we're here, Spenny, do we have other sad news in the sporting department?
Yeah, we do.
As it attains to our teams?
We do. I've double, triple checked this just to make sure it's real, because it's a serious thing, and it is legit. It is a verified account. The account is verified because it's a government or multilateral organization account. It's been verified since 2016, and it is the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. They posted on their Twitter an arrest warrant for Cam Sutton. It says, do you know this man? The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office needs your assistance in locating a wanted suspect, Cameron Sutton, age 29. He's wanted for aggravated battery, domestic violence. He may be driving a Jeep Grand Wagoneer, plate number, blah, blah, blah. If you have any information of his whereabouts of Cameron Sutton, please call this number. So,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That is... For some reason, that's one of the last people I expected on the Lions. I mean, you don't really expect anybody on the Lions to get into something like this, but we'll see. I know it's too early to jump to conclusions.
So it is innocent until proven guilty, for sure. But
100%. But those are not the kind of allegations that you want. I'll just say that. Who knows what it'll turn out to be? But I hope this situation resolves itself. That's all I got to say about that, because you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
That's absolutely. So we will stay up to date. I know the boys in the back are watching that, and it's just to bring it up because it definitely means something here with the off season. So I think he nailed it. Sam is like he wouldn't have been on my bingo board.
No.
Yeah. As far as guys, so let's just let it play out, and the bottom line is I guess it's in the off season, so. All these things will play itself out. Yeah. Right? It doesn't really affect the team as of right now. So we'll just move forward and keep an ear to it. So just letting you know that that's what's going on.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we gotta even when it's not news that we want to talk about, we gotta break it. And it was actually Spenny that found it. And I think all of us were kind of like, no way. And then I see it in one of our group chats, and it's just like, all right, I guess it is. I guess it is real. But like I said, we're just gonna have to see how it plays out. But anywho. It's hard to transition back to sports when it comes to that. But, Spenny, welcome back to the show. It's been a couple of days, and you guys got the exciting news that Michigan State is a 9 seed in the NCAA tournament. How are you feeling about that, and how are you feeling about the tournament as a whole? Are you still excited even though you didn't have the regular season that you wanted?
I am excited because obviously the regular season doesn't matter anymore when you get into the tournament. when you make the tournament, it means a lot more. They're playing Mississippi State. It's not going to be an easy win, but I do think that they should get the win over Mississippi State. Depends on our guard play and how they're looking out. AJ Hogard had a fantastic game in their last couple games, so if he can continue that play, if he can play like he did in the tournament last year, they have a very good chance of beating this Mississippi State team. Now, when it comes to a potential matchup with UNC in the next round, that's a different story because I don't know anybody on our team that can handle Baycott. He's a problem in the middle, and Carson Cooper is probably our best chance at slowing him down. But yeah, eyes on Mississippi State right now. I do think they should be able to beat Mississippi State and get that win and go into the next round.
Yeah, and Armando Baycott, I can't believe he's still in college. Yeah. Same with R.J. Davis, by the way. But, they're veteran players, and it's going to be a tough matchup. And Eduardo O'Neal, because you asked so nicely and because it was a super chat, if the Lions stopped the three-peat, would Sam cry because Lions won the Super Bowl or because his favorite team couldn't make history? And by his favorite team, you're implying the Kansas City Chiefs. Very funny, Eduardo. But thank you for the donation. I would obviously be very, very happy. And hell, who says no to that Super Bowl matchup next year? Nobody.
Hey, you get your cake and eat it too. You be eating ice cream and cake, claiming all victories, Sam. You claim it's a Sam three-peat. Two by KC, one by the Lions. That's a flannel Pete.
Yeah.
He'll be parading around. He'll probably have a shirt on the merch store.
We all have our players that we like. Is my second biggest agenda pushing the Patrick Mahomes as future GOAT after the Lions winning the Super Bowl? Absolutely it is. I mean, Spenny, you were a Carmelo Anthony fan back in the day, so you understand the predicament. Unfortunately for you, Carmelo didn't really win anything, but he's still a Hall of Famer.
You're right. Don't do that.
Still.
You won an NCAA championship?
No. That's 100% fair. Jim Boeheim thanks Carmelo Anthony. That is for a damn sure. And speaking of the Detroit Lions, and I know you guys touched on it on Wake Up Woodward early this morning. Did you see this new documentary that they're going to have out called Wide Receiver,
yes.
which it was based off of? I know they had the quarterback series that was on Netflix that featured Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, and Marcus Mariota. For some reason, Marcus Mariota was on it, but that's neither here nor there. But are we excited to see Amon-Ra St. Brown? He seems like the type of guy that off camera would be more or less all business. Are we excited to see what goes into his preparation, all that?
Somebody doesn't watch the podcast with the brothers, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, do we think? Don't we? Spenny, isn't Amon-Ra St. Brown one that we already know?
Oh yeah,
sort of like. And I wouldn't say, Kelsey leads the league because he's got Taylor Swift, so everybody there. But
right.
George Kittle, wrestling guy, personality. Amon-Ra St. Brown already. The fact that you can tune into the podcast with his brother and stuff like this, and they're talking to players and talking about the games that went by. It's very personal, and I'm excited because you know what I'm looking forward to, Spenny? We hear all the time, right? Mm-hmm. The workouts and what he puts in. Well, now we're going to get to see exactly what it is. And when I think of Amon-Ra St. Brown and his work ethic, I think of Chris Draper. And that's a guy that, if you don't know, there's two types of people. There's people like Drapes that'll get sick if they don't work out, and there's people like D-Mac that'll get sick if they do.
Yeah.
So, you know what? But whatever it's put in, I can't wait. I think personality-wise, I think this just will endear him to the world more so than what he has endeared himself to this fan base, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he is the pulse of this team, in my opinion. You can use different body parts for different guys, but this guy's what makes the blood flow.
Yeah, and you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You also have Justin Jefferson. You've got Devontae Adams is going to be interesting because he had many years with Aaron Rodgers, and the year before he had Derek Carr. And this season, Devontae Adams' numbers were down because his quarterbacks were Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell. So I'm kind of curious to see how he handled this season. I don't know who.
If that MFer doesn't have a Taco Bell in his house,
I'm
gonna
upset.
False
I might
advertising.
say Taco Bell.
Yes.
Right? Then Spenny, you don't want. Remember, I'm trying to get heavyweights that endorsement. Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't really have that Taco Bell in his house, I'm going to call it blasphemy.
Yeah.
But think about it, right? They're using some personalities too. I think Justin Jefferson will be interesting, right? Arguably one of the best receivers in the league. All these guys, and I think that the beauty of it, just listening to you name guys, they're all different kinds of receivers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. So how do they prepare? You know, who prepares, right? Which ways? How do they train? Right? Durability-wise is what, you know, you'd think Amon-Ra, St. Brown. But the finesse, the jumping, stuff like this. I'm excited. I'm almost more excited than the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks were sort of Melba-toast, aren't they?
Yeah.
The ones that they did, it was just sort of like didn't they do Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, they did Kirk Cousins. They did Marcus Mariota. And Kirk Cousins, to some extent, I thought was compelling-ish just because of his whole, you know, goody two-shoes image.
It's going to be compelling.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, now you've added the spice.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you've actually added some interesting people that I want to see a little bit more because of, you know, a little bit more flamboyant or, you know, out there. And I think the receiver position does that. My question to you guys, are they just going to keep running the gamut? Are we going to see defensive ends? We're going to see the...
I would,
I would hope so.
I think that they hit on something like this.
Yeah.
And everybody in the Woodward Sports Chat that wasn't here to open the show, we did mention the Cam Sutton news, and I will mention it again for those who weren't here or didn't hear of it, that the Hillsbury County Sheriff's Office put out a warrant for Cameron Sutton, age 29. He's wanted for aggravated battery, domestic violence, and maybe in a Jeep Grand Wagoneer, plate number, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. So the Hillsbury County Sheriff Office put out a warrant for Cam Sutton for aggravated violence and domestic battery.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Terrell from FL, he puts in a sentiment that I can't even necessarily blame him for, although obviously innocent until proven guilty. Cut Sutton and go get Gilmore. Got no time for fuckery. I mean, if that's how... I can't necessarily hate you for that. Also because of Cam Sutton, how he
Well,
played.
let's just pull the trigger before we know what's going
No,
on.
I understand that, but
I would just exercise due process.
I don't really think
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
no, I get that, but that kind of thing happening when you're Cam Sutton. I mean, if it's for example, Amon-Ra St. Brown, which we don't think would ever happen, that's different. I don't necessarily agree. It's just if you have that sentiment right now, I'm not going to kill you for it. That's all. I don't necessarily agree. And yes, I'm all about innocent until proven guilty. Trust me, 100%. But there's some good news.
But you also have a what do you have? I have no use for if you have what have you done for me lately or whatever like that. Like it should it really matter though, Sam? Like where you lie on your talent. Right, like this, like because isn't that talent on yourself? Shouldn't you want a fair shake? Now, do we not all agree here? If he did something wrong, and especially in this department today, then he should be dealt with, and you can't do that.
Sure.
But if he didn't, like, shouldn't he get like? That's why, like, just let it play out. And I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's a cop out. Even though you're right in the fact there are different strokes for different folks depending on how much money's invested. Yes. But it's just sad that it is that way.
And for me, you know, if you put your hands on a woman, you're the scum of the earth to me.
Yeah,
so, like,
I think we're all on the same,
serious, but,
right? We're all on the same point, but
due process, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we not agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes, and
especially here, have we heard things? Go look up Cam Sutton's past or whatever. This isn't like
this
isn't for lack of a better term, Antonio Brown.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get all that different things, but I mean, it's an unfortunate situation that I think he deserves.
Yeah. Just got to be patient.
Yes.
Let it play out.
And to add a little bit of humor to the situation, Freddie Felt 313. We should have famed lawyer Brandon Katz to defend Cam Sutton in court. So obviously this isn't a funny situation, but I could not let that comment go. Nice, good on you, Freddie Felt. But you know, despite all of the sad news that we've that has been in the first segment, again, my condolences, D-Mac. Sorry for your loss,
Sam.
which we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
Something good did happen last night, and we're going to get into it in the next segment. The Red Wings, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that they might have just saved their season last night with a dramatic win, and who better to talk to it with than Darren McCarty and, of course, Mo Rax. And I forgot to introduce my guy KG in the audio booth as well. Before we do that, though, where can some of these Red Wings or maybe even these Columbus Blue Jackets players who need some pain relief go, D-Mac?
you know what? Ohio's legal now, and they can get their own stuff over there. We got to worry about our guys over here and everybody in Michigan. Right. Where do you go? You know where to go. You visit Dispo Dispensary today because March Madness, it's officially here. Is it not, Spetty? The playing games tonight?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. It means we're on our way, and Dispo is giving away $1,000 of the best bracket at each location. Battle Creek, Romeo, Whitmore Lake, Hazel Park, Bay City, North and South, and Ann Arbor. Go get your blank brackets now, fill them out, return them by Sunday, March 24th for a chance at the $1,000. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
How would you like to win $50,000? It's the Woodward Sports 50K Bracket Buster Challenge, brought to you by Glorious Cannabis, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, and Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Register for your chance to win at any Lady Jane's or Soroki's location, or just scan the QR code behind me. The shot clock is ticking. Register today at WoodwardSportsBracket.com. That's WoodwardSportsBracket.com, and you could be $50,000 richer. What up, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam, filling in for Neil Rule. The man to my left is four-time Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings, Darren McCarty. And speaking of the Detroit Red Wings, they needed that last night like human beings and any living creatures need air, because last night the Detroit Red Wings, they defeated the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-3 in overtimes for only their second win in the last 10 games. But hey, the Red Wings are still technically in that last playoff spot right now. So big win. I know it doesn't make up for the stretch that they've been in, but shout out to Lucas Raymond and Patrick Kane for really stepping up when this team needed them most. Yes, Lucas Raymond, is that a 5-game goal streak at this point? 7 goals in 5 games, I believe. That's
9 points.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been on an absolute heater, and shout out to him for in games. I know at the beginning when Dylan Larkin was out, he, like everybody else, was in a bit of a goal and assist embargo, but Lucas Raymond has really stepped up, probably played the best 5-game stretch of his life when the team has needed him most, and played a big role in them getting 2 out of the last 5 games. So shout out to Lucas Raymond, and shout out to Patrick Kane. Funny thing, in the last Red Wings 3 overtime games, not wins, games, Patrick Kane has had the game-winning goal. So shout out to him. Thank goodness that Steve Yzerman went and got him mid-season. But Darren McCarty, is it an exaggeration to say that the Red Wings saved their season last night?
I think I tweeted out. Did you get it, Spenny?
Yep, I got it.
I think I tweeted out last night right after this game, and that's pretty much that was
Yes.
gutty. And the times when you need it the most, Sam, and you brought up, a couple things, and I've said it all along, is you cannot worry about what you've done or not have done. You're in the thick of it right now, right? You have your room for error has gone, right? Last night, that was, as I'm watching them take that face off after that last icing, going, boys, if you're going to do it, it's not getting any easier. We're seeing the teams around them. We mentioned the Washington. They're not going to quit. Former Stanley Cup champion. Philly hasn't died. They won a big game last night, against the Leafs and stuff like this. So this was imperative. And what you've done now, right? You've put yourself in a position Thursday to play the Islanders, and in the proverbial 4-point game, if you can beat them in regulation, you pretty much can push them behind. So we're hanging on by the skin of our teeth, are we not, Spenmo?
Yeah.
But it's, again, you can only control games in hand. Now, I've said it all along, 96 points is the goal. That's 10 out of the next 15 games wins. That's 2 out of 3 games wins. Schedule doesn't get easier, but again, what I've seen from this team, Spenny and I were talking about it before the game. What you saw in desperation in the last 12 minutes of the game is the way that they have to figure out a way to play all the games. Spenny, you nailed it. Mm-hmm. First thing that was so imperative to me is in going in the third period is what they have 15 shots.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to score goals without shots. You mentioned it too. Mo Sider, what do? Throw it in the net.
Threw it at the net.
Right?
Joe Bueno in the front
Absolutely.
of the net. Yeah.
So guys stepped up at the opportune times. Leaders, you mentioned it, Sam. We're watching somebody emerge, right? What did I always say? There has to be a guy to step up when other guys go down. We are seeing this benefit Lucas Raymond not only in leadership but also production. And then Patrick Kane's doing what Patrick Kane does now. Just imagine if we can get DeBrincat going and everything else. So
Larkin comes back.
we're right in the middle of it. It's everything that Gary Bettman wants as a commissioner. It's Gary Bettman hockey, where it comes down to the last week of the season that everybody's locked into playoff mode. But Sam, you nailed it as far as oxygen, as far as anything else. That's the game. And if you watch the interview after the game with Patrick Kane, he mentioned it. There's a guy with 3 Stanley Cups and, that's been around, arguably the greatest American-born player. He said, when we look back, this could be that moment, right? So you're always looking for moments. How do I know that? Because coming up in less than a week, we're going to talk about March 26th, which was the ultimate moment. So was that sort of in this year's version of them getting it going? Well, we'll see how they come out. I wanted to add another thing. Props to James Reimer.
Absolutely.
Right? So, I mean, and you know what? This takes nothing away from Alex Lyon because he did everything that he could, right, for as long as he could. But this is where it doesn't matter. He's winning games. His last 2 games he's won for you, so hopefully he can get on a roll. But, yeah, that was as exciting. I came out of my chair. So, I mean, I'm still a fan as much as everybody else. So hopefully we can use this and take care of the Islanders. There's other. Spenny, were you mentioning something today? You said there's something that you had to bring up that you needed my blessing on, but I'm not going to like it. But if you explain it to me, I might be okay with it.
Yeah, D-Mac. We got to do it for one time and one time only.
All right.
We got to root for the Toronto Maple Leafs because they are playing the Washington Capitals in a rematch game.
Tonight.
And the Capitals are 1 point behind us with 2 games in hand.
Yep.
The blessing is what time is it? This is a 12-hour blessing at 11:23 p.m. This comes off the board, right? But yes, we must cheer for Toronto to win tonight. So it's okay to be able to do that. Yes, Spencer, you have the blessing. So they couldn't do it for us last night against Philly. Let's hope they can do it tonight against Washington.
Yeah, unfortunately, the nature with the Red Wings' recent stretch of poor play is that you now have to scoreboard watch again really intently, and that's why we have to root for the Capitals to lose tonight. So, Spenny, did the Red Wings save their season last night?
I think they did. I mean, if you lose that game, you lose to the last place team. It's not setting a great precedent going forward, especially going into a matchup which is another must win against the Islanders, which is your next game. So you needed that win. They punked you in the first period. They straight up punked the Red Wings in the first period. They had more shots shorthanded than the Red Wings did on their power play in the first period. So that could not happen. The way they bounced back, they started actually throwing pucks at the net. Lucas Raymond was the savior of this team last night. So I'm excited. I was happy that they got the win, but, man, it did not look good for the first 25 minutes of the game last night.
Well, survive in advance, right?
You guys ever have, like, that, like, you get the scare.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's you're not paying attention and you got to slam on your brakes. And you're like, oh, my God, I could have rear-ended that. But you have that scare and you feel like you got away with it.
Yeah.
They haven't had, they've sucked in the emotion and stuff like that, but they haven't had the scare like that. So hopefully that shocks them back, because usually after scares like that, aren't you more attentive to whatever was distracting, like you got away with one? Mm-hmm. That's how they got to feel moving forward. And if they use that, come out like you said, Spenny. That game was started out the way all the rest of them have. It's like, where's the emotion? Where's the get into it? So that's the leadership, is that today going into tomorrow is they got to find a way to start when the pucks drop. Because here's the thing too. What did you just say on the penalty kill? Right on the power play, that they're getting outplayed and stuff like that. So it means that they're doing the right things and putting themselves in position, but then it's just a focus. So let's hopefully they can focus, hopefully they can power play early in the game and score and change the narrative of coming from behind, because that gets old.
Yes. And every team that's ever won anything, or at least most of them, has had that moment where they've had to avert disaster. And I give the Red Wings a lot of credit for doing that last night, because falling down 2-0 in the first period, especially coming off of a stretch where they lost 8 of 9, there might be an element of here we go again, especially since Larkin was still out and Jake Wallman was out. That was going to be tough to come back from that, even though it was home against Columbus. But anywho, they went and they tied that up. Shout out to them for that. But then Lucas Raymond with a goal with 12 seconds left to send it into overtime, and then winning it in overtime, which we all know 3-on-3 hockey, a lot of random things can happen. And shout out to the Red Wings in overtime, by the way, because they've won their last 5 overtime matchups, with 3 of them being game-winning goals by Patrick Kane. So they did what they had to do. And at this time of year, especially as I mentioned, with them needing a win more than living creatures need oxygen on a daily basis, you survive in advance. And shout out to Lucas Raymond. Like I said at the beginning, he's played his best 5-game stretch ever when the Red Wings needed him most, when some other guys, who I will get into in the next segment, have been doing cardio out there. Shout out to Lucas Raymond for that. And the Red Wings, they're now, despite that tailspin where it seemed like at times the season was going off the rails, they're still in that last playoff spot. And if the Capitals lose tonight to the Toronto Maple Leafs, which we're all rooting for, hey, the Red Wings kind of have it all out in front of them again. They're going to need a little bit of help, which they wouldn't have needed if they didn't have this tough stretch, but they gave themselves enough cushion to where they can withstand that. You get Dylan Larkin back. You hopefully get certain guys, who I'm going to mention in the next segment, to step up, and hopefully they can go on a bit of a run and win some of the games coming up that they really, really need to have as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was not Edvinsson number 3 before, or did he wear 77 last time he was up?
He was 3 before, yeah.
So he's new number?
Yeah.
77, which the ski mask boy was asking about numbers, and it changes differently. Usually if you're a free agent coming in, like, and you can get your number, or if it's a rookie guy or a younger guy, they'll give it to you, like Kane got it from Sprong. If you're like a Bergeron or whatever, they're going to give you a number. But the Edvinsson 77, they give you a 77. That means you're part of the future. You ain't going anywhere. Like you've sort of progressed, and it was also too because they gave Hall 3, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they gave Hall 3. So that just means So they got big plans for Edmonton. And shout out to Big Cy for coming in and changing the tide 1-0. So for all you guys that were saying that he could be the difference, he was.
I just wanted to ask, have hockey players ever paid for numbers?
Ever paid?
Yeah. So let's say it's somebody that's been on the team, you coming in, you want the number.
Yeah, like they'll buy them shit watches or whatever. Like they're just sometimes there's like a negotiation or something. But it's usually in hockey, it's usually like, buy a snowmobile, or what do you like, golf clubs, or like there's usually like an interaction that. In football, it's big money, or basketball or whatever like it. But so hockey, good old boy network, they figure it out.
Yes, and shout out to
couple cases of beer and a bag of weed, bro.
Yes, and shout out to Simon Edvinsson, and as you said before, shout out to James Reimer. His last 2 games, he's only allowed 4 goals total and is 2-0, and And it's still, the streak still stands at this point. The Red Wings are still undefeated in regulation when they've allowed 3 goals or less in the calendar year of 2024. Says a whole lot of how their defense was performing in the previous 9, but that's neither here nor there. They still have a chance to right the ship. Well, speaking of defense, Darren McCarty, what could the Detroit Red Wings use, or anybody use, when it comes to home security?
Oh, it's only one. And you know what? You love it. Guardian Alarm. Let them offer you customized solutions from real experts, professional technicians. Take the time to recommend security and automated solutions specific to your needs. But I need you to call Guardian Alarm today. The number, 1-800.
Stay out.
24/7 professional monitoring. Call anytime, day or night. No other Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as it's needed. But I need you to call the number, 1-800.
Stay out.
Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who've been proven to care. Business, pleasure. Guardian doesn't care. They just want you to call the number, 1-800.
Stay out. Stay out of the net. Alex Ovechkin. Sorry, Caps. I love you, Ovi, but we need you to lose.
Get your goals somewhere else. Guardian Alarm, local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy we sent you.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The new glorious ice water bubble hash pre-roll now with diamonds. Hold on a sec. It is so good. Constantly pushing to create the best cannabis experience. Perfect boost comes from the added touch of pure THC diamond dust, allowing flower with only the highest terps. That's flavor, making the best even better. Glorious Cannabis. Check us out at your local retailer, gloriouscanna2ns.com.
Welcome back to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam filling in for Neil Rule. The man to my left is 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings, Darren McCarty. And Spenny, you've got some things to say or some news. Yes.
Just updating the Cam Sutton news. Obviously, if you are just joining the show or you haven't heard, Cam Sutton, there has been a warrant issued for his arrest by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and the charge description on their website for Cameron Sutton is domestic battery by strangulation. So that is what is written on the charges for the warrant.
Yikes.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, not good. As I said before, let's just see how it all plays out. But if he did these things, obviously, good riddance. But again, we shall see. And because and I know people are not going to like me for what I'm about to do right now, but aren't we kind of happy we have a Meek Robertson in the cornerback room now? Just in case. I was happy before, but there is a scenario to where Cam Sutton has to be cut, and I have to bring it up just because people are talking about it in the chat. So at least the cornerback room has a little bit more depth, but obviously hope this all works out. I don't even really know what to root for, because if he did it, I hope he gets everything that's coming to him. But if he didn't, I hope he is cleared. It's a very difficult situation, but I think the Lions will do the right thing, because obviously Brad Holmes is pretty much, I know this is a uncharted territories. You trust his whatever he's going to do. But anyway, on some lighter, well, not really some lighter news, but the Detroit Red Wings, they got a big win last night, and we're all over the moon about it. But it was also the perfect example to me of surviving and advancing. It was a little bit tougher than you would like against Columbus, especially since you were about 12 seconds away from losing, but you got the win, and that's fantastic. But what that also leads to is they got another game at LCA against the Islanders, a game that I believe is at this stage of the season, as close to a must-win as you can possibly have. It would be it's one of those 4-point games. If you get it, you get 2 points. Islanders don't, but the inverse means that it would be really tough for the Red Wings. It would be a tough blow considering the 5-game road stretch that they have ahead of it. So,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just another update on the Cam Sutton situation. It's from Justin Rogers, who's a Lions beat reporter. He put out, Hillsborough County Police were contacted at 4:30 a.m. on March 7th regarding a domestic incident involving Cam Sutton. Victim's name is still being withheld. They've had multiple attempts to contact Sutton. He hasn't been able to. They haven't been able to. So they released a warrant on social media today. So this situation happened on March 7th at 4:30 a.m. And like I said, on the charges, it was domestic violence by strangulation. So they've been trying to contact Cam Sutton, haven't been able to reach him. So they put out the warrant on social media today.
Man, that's a public figure too. You'd hope, since it's Cam Sutton, that he would just turn himself in at this point.
That's
Because that is certainly a tough situation. And like I said before, if he did the things, cut him. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But we don't know that. It's an ongoing investigation, or haven't even got him yet. So the investigation will probably be in full swing once they do get him, because Cam Sutton is they're eventually gonna. I'm assuming he will probably turn himself in. That would be that would be smart. That would be smart, because you're Cam Sutton. You're not Joe Schmo who can fit into anything. But for the record, if you're wanted, just turn yourself in anyway. I don't advocate running from the police no matter who you are. But anywho, man, this is a tough situation to navigate, but because I don't want to take it too much to football, because then it seems insensitive. But like I said before, the fact that they've added some cornerback depth, a guy in Amik Robertson who had a better season last season than Cam Sutton by the numbers, and as you mentioned, I believe it was either you or Easy on the heavyweights, would seem to be a perfect matchup on paper for guys like DJ Moore and Jaden Reed. Thank goodness we have them, and thank goodness that Brad Holmes is the man making the decisions behind that. But let's get back on track. The Detroit Red Wings. D-Mac, is this a must? I want to ask you two questions. Is this game against the Islanders a must-win, one? And two, what do they need to do to come out of LCA with a victory Thursday night?
I'm obvious. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, they're all must-wins right now.
Yeah.
The fact is, but again, you've put yourself in this position. Can't reiterate more. Is that hopefully that was a shock to the system enough that you don't want to get there. What do they have to do? Well, here's the thing. Remember last time the Islanders came in and it was the same thing? You got to learn from your mistakes. You mentioned last segment, Spenny, how would it feel losing to the last place team in the league? Well, God, do you not just remember what you did in a home and home against Arizona, who's one of the last place teams in the other side, the Western Conference? This is a no-brainer. Again, every game has to be the must-win game. Right? Until you get to 96 points, Sam. Once you get to 96 points, then they're not must-wins anymore. But, no, it's going to be tough. And here's the one thing. If you look at the standing, I'm always going to look at the last 10, But you can look at the streaks, too, also. So everybody's playing. But the two that glare out right now is that Tampa, former champions and stuff, on a 4-game winning streak, meaning that they know that now's the time to put the gas down and, win the games, because they can separate. So they're doing what I've asked our team to do that wasn't able to do it. But also, too, this Islanders team's on a 5-game losing streak. So you got to kick them while they were down. When they came in last time, they were hot, right? Patrick Waugh just took over and stuff like this. They were hot. They were winning. Now they're reeling. You can't let them out of this tailspin. Spenny already mentioned to you he's got some fear on Ovi and Washington, because they're not going to stop with the experience they have, and now they're getting guys healthy, and TJ Oshie's back and stuff like this. Philly refuses to lose, right? There's the battle there. You have to take the knockout punch when you can. And you win this game tomorrow, which is that 4-point game, like, you're putting all these last bad games, all this 7-game losing streak, all this other stuff in your back mirror. Irrelevant. That's how big it is, Sam. So we have to step up. We have to play better. You got to come right out of the gate. If you come out like you did against Columbus, you'll be down 3-4-0. You won't be able to come back.
Yeah, you.
Okay, so that's imperative. If I'm looking for the key, you said what's the key? Score the first goal tomorrow, and let's see how we rock out this building. People are ready. The fans are ready to get behind. And why is that important? First goal. What did I just tell you about the Islanders?
They're on a
5-game losing streak. What would you do, Sam? Right? Let's pretend you played sports. What a dick.
That's all right.
No, like, right? If you played, and it doesn't matter what level you're at, if things are real, and like it's just what the Red Wings got out of. Right? They get behind and they battle. They try to play hard, but it's just too little too late in the back of their mind is like it's going to happen again. Right?
Yeah.
And you know where it's worse? And you know where that is even bigger? On the road.
Yeah.
So it's on the road. So that's the imperativeness of this game. Even more. And plus you can learn from your mistakes of what you didn't do last time against this team. Now you can do. And plus, it's Patrick Waugh back there, guys. Beat him.
Beat Patrick Waugh. Yeah.
Beat Patrick Waugh. Come on, it's March.
Especially
It's near the anniversary.
Yeah. Yes.
Next Tuesday. Come on. For me, guys, just for me.
You know what? If
D-Mac pleading with you, boys. Do this for me. My birthday's April 1st, too. Do it we'll throw it in as a birthday present, too.
Well,
come on, Wings.
You know what? If that's not motivation,
Wings, let's fly.
If that's not enough motivation, then I don't know what is. Especially considering that a loss to the Patrick Waugh coached Islanders is kind of what started off this bad stretch for the Red Wings. And for me, I understand that in these last 10 games now, last night and 2 games ago, not really withstanding. Their defense has been poor. It's basically played at the level of like the worst defense in hockey. Alex Lyon, I think you put it perfectly on the heavyweights. He seemed to have a bit of a Linsanity run and is falling down to earth a little bit to where you're maybe thinking.
Okay, so let's pump the brakes.
We knew that was going to happen, no?
But yeah, right? Can you explain the why, Spenny?
It's because he's never been in this situation.
He's not a start. Yeah. He's exactly what Husso was last year, trying to figure out if he could lug the big time. He can. What did he prove to you? If you were going to say, I think he's like legitimately one of the best backups in the league.
Yes.
Right? That you can get 30 games out of if you need it. 35 great games, and he can win 20 of them. Yeah. But now, does this mean that he can't in the future learn this? No, but at this time right now, we don't have that luxury. That's why, remember what I said about Husso? It'd be the perfect storm if Husso, when he came back, was healthy. Because then you get him right now, everybody playing half the season. If Billy Husso comes back healthy,
it'd be huge.
Huge.
It'd be huge. You'd have two guys.
So it's not I knew what Alex Lyon was. It's sort of like it's his maturation, and to me, I think Alex Lyon's more of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
So I think it's something, but we don't have the luxury right now to do that. But I like him as a goaltender. But I just thought, did you just see him get tired?
Yeah. That's what we worried about. We had these thoughts all year that he's never been in a situation where he's had to start this many games, where he's had to be that number one guy for a whole season, and he's probably going to get worn out. That's why we were hoping Billy Husso would be healthy and ready to go to take some of the load off of his shoulders. Reimer stepped in last night. He let in a couple little bad ones, but he got the win.
The bottom line, and what did he do on the Saturday game? He won. Right? Like, this is the thing, is that he's finding a way to win, and we don't ask how, we ask how many.
Well, it's like, and I understand that when it comes to Alex Lyon. He was playing, it was a situation that he's never really played before, and he did have a stretch where he was very, very good.
Think about where you'd be. You wouldn't even be in a conversation without him.
100%. However, though, and I got to go to somebody who has been dropping the ball a little bit. Alex DeBrincat has 0 goals and 2 assists in the last 10 games. That, to me, is the one where I'm just kind of those are Christian Fisher numbers. Those aren't Alex DeBrincat numbers.
Christian Fisher has better numbers.
Christian Fisher, in the last 10 games, he does have better numbers.
Sam, you want to go? Who's the guy that's got it right?
Yeah.
That if you want, you more than absolutely 100%. Yeah. Now, what do you see? It's not like I'm watching the game, right? It's the fact that, like, it's there, like, and we know, what do we know about DeBrincat? He's streaky because he's got to get one. But the fact is that this is the glaring mark that's struggling. Because if he's even scored 5 goals at this point, you're a couple games better, a couple wins better. So hopefully, that's tomorrow. But but Sam, I will not I have nothing to you. You're 100% right. Because if you're supposed to be one of our saviors and the captain goes down and leader and step up and stuff like this.
Well, and this is where he kind of owes it to the Red Wings to have a goal. Maybe he gets the first goal against the Islanders, and then in a couple of games where they play Washington, which will also be a huge game, even though it's on the road. This is where he has to step up. This is where he has to go on one of those Alex DeBrincat streaks, where maybe in a 5-game stretch he scores 4 or 5 goals and has like 8 or 9 points.
Nice.
He's more than capable of it. I mean, he's had 40 in a season twice. It's just I've been disappointed in him because I think he's really let the team down, even though he was a big reason why you had the cushion that you did. And also, by the way, Comfer and Sprong have also only scored 2 in the last 10 games.
Just shows that.
But hasn't it been like when you lost Larkin, you lost DeBrincat too?
Exactly.
So that's why it's hurt so much to be able to facilitate. And it's not through lack of effort. It's but it's lack of execution.
I was talking to my boy Dante Pastoria. Shout out my guy. He's a big hockey fan.
Dante Pastore.
Yeah, Dante Pastoria. Yeah, he's been a big hockey fan.
He's got the gabagool.
A big Red Wings fan his whole life. We talk about the Red Wings a lot. We were talking about Sarnik centering Kane and DeBrincat.
Did you see? But did you? You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Okay, well, but do you know why that is? Speed.
Yeah.
Right? Pushing the pace. Like you saw. No. But as far as you're counting on Kane to open up the DeBrincat and whatever because you're using Zarnik.
Yeah.
But Spenny, to the point, what did I say? What have I been saying? Why is it so imperative to have a 1C?
Yeah.
Where Dylan could be your 2 because you wouldn't be missing right now and we wouldn't have these conversations if it was a Kyle Connors or something like this, right? Somebody carrying the load. So I saw that too, but that just goes to show, right? That's not the first choice. It's not the second choice. It's not the third choice.
Yeah.
This is like the fourth. This is trying to get DeBrincat going. And so using Zarnik as his speed to maybe open up behind him, but again, it's finicky. So I think Sam, here I'm gonna go on a limb. If you watch, especially early, that first goal I'm talking about, DeBrincat gets it. He's gonna get 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, we would certainly love that. Go ahead.
Can the Red Wings please score the first goal of the game?
Yes.
Can we please score the first goal of the game?
That's my key to the game.
They have been outshot. I think minus 50 plus in the first period over the past 10 games. Like, you can't let that happen.
Yes.
Can't keep getting out to these slow starts.
No, of course not. That would be. I agree with your key and with you, Spenny, as well. And before we go to break, just a fan. He's being a little bit snarky because he always does. Scoring hockey goals is not like hitting a baseball, Sam. I understand, but in a stretch where the Red Wings went 2-8 and Alex DeBrincat has 0 goals in that game, I'm not just going to not mention it. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah, he's been disappointing.
He
for
has.
Sure.
He's I kind of joked earlier. He's been doing cardio out there. That's a little bit unfair, but still, that's not that's not good enough.
It isn't.
When they needed him to step up,
he'll tell you that himself.
He will tell you that himself. Yeah. And for the record, and this is why it's so great that they were able to build a cushion. He still has time to make up for everything and right every wrong.
Steal that.
Yes.
Look at this guy. He's just doing cardio.
Doing those like agains from A Miracle. But when we come back, we're going to get into the Lions a little bit more because, they've had a hell of an off season, and there's a lot to mention as well about that. But first, I have to tell you about Big Boy. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Dive into fish and chips, their new Parmesan crusted cod, perfectly fried clam strip platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. A Big Boy must try the new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to their popcorn shrimp Alfredo, or shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. And don't forget, every Friday night, the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. See you at Big Boy.
And our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, and the hats that are guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Welcome back to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam filling in for Neil Rule. The man to my left is Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings. We got KG in the audio booth and Spenmo Rax in the sound booth. And Spenmo, if you want to just recap the audience on the Cam Sutton situation.
Yeah, there's really not enough for us to do a whole segment on it or break down exactly what's going on because it's still an evolving situation. But if you've seen it on Twitter, if you've seen the release, it is true. The Hillsbury County Sheriff's Office has released an arrest warrant for Cam Sutton. Officially, the charges on the arrest warrant are domestic battery by strangulation. And Justin Rogers, an insider for the Detroit Lions, put out there that the Hillsbury County Police were contacted at 4:30 a.m. on March 7th regarding a domestic incident involving Cam Sutton. The victim's name is still being withheld. They've made multiple attempts to contact Sutton. They haven't been able to, so they've released the warrant on social media today. And again, the official charge on the warrant is domestic battery by strangulation for Cameron Sutton.
Tough. Well, let's just see how it all plays out, but thank you for recapping the audience on that, Spenny. Speaking of the Detroit Lions, they made themselves a free agent signing recently that I think everybody has a 100% approval on, especially when you consider the money. Kevin Zeitler, guard, 1 year, $6 million. So do you know what that means? That means that next season, and in terms of average annual value, Kevin Zeitler and Graham Glasgow make significantly less combined than Jonah Jackson does, at least on an average annual value rating. And honestly, if you look at the numbers, if you look at what I believe their impact will be on the offensive line this year, those two are both better players than Jonah Jackson right now. I would say hard stop. So is this, so D-Mac, of all the great things that Brad Holmes has done, mostly through the draft, when it comes to free agency, might this be his greatest achievement or his greatest heist, getting Jonah Jackson leaving for $17 million a year and getting Kevin Zeitler and Graham Glasgow for like a combined $12 million at least for next year?
Well, I think it just goes to, what one of the things that we weren't sure. We were sure he was good in the draft, but we weren't sure. And we lost Evan Brown last year, right?
Yes.
So we're used to guys going out and getting paid and stuff like that, but this is the fact that he was confident that he could replace him. Spenny and I were talking about this before the show, right? I mean, one of the lessons that was learned is like the ugliest loss last year in Baltimore, but what did you learn? Well, the quote on Lee McNeil about running up against Zeitler was like, it's a wall, bro. Yeah. So you learn like, hey, might want that guy on my team. The deal is the one that blew me away, right? Spenny, we were speculating, even Neil was 10 to 12 million to 6 million. The durability is a factor. The fact that you do the math and you say, oh, I got both these guys, Glasgow, Spenny's brother, right, who's going to move over to the left guard, can play, anywhere interior in there. We saw what he could do if Frank goes down. Responsibility, being a play caller at center and stuff, we know what comes with that. So this is just what I like is the fact that how many times, right? And Spenny, you're a big workout guy right now, and there's things that you love to do, but you don't just do those things, but you have to do them. Like if you love arms or chest or whatever like this and you want to press that barbell, well, that's the offensive line. You're going to do that. You're not going to neglect that just because you're good at it. You're going to reinforce it, and that's what he's done, and that's what they've continued to do, right, consistently, because that's what the culture is. So, I love hearing, quotes on guys when guys bring it in. What was it like playing against them? And I'm sure that it's a conversation that just doesn't happen 2 weeks ago, right? This happened in the building. This happened more so in the building between Brad And Dan, as they were preparing for who they were going to go with, obviously, we could offer Jonah Jackson money. We could offer Evan Brown money, but it wasn't part of moving forward. And I asked you, not only financially, but also, too, positionally, are we not better?
Yes.
Right? Are we not better at the position?
Oh, 100%. I mean, and I know a lot of people don't like PFF, but even if you're just looking at PFF, they now have 2 of the top 15 rated guards on their team, at least ranked by last season's play, with Graham Glasgow being, I believe, 8 and Kevin Zeitler being 15. Kevin Zeitler, you could also rename him. If you want to give him a nickname, you should call him Pass Block God, because that is what he does. He is pretty much a brick wall, as Aleem McNeil found out when he went up against Kevin Zeitler and the Baltimore Ravens last season. In the last 3 years, Kevin Zeitler allowed less than 20 pressures every single season and only allowed 5 combined sacks in the last 3 seasons. So he's pretty much, and who's that going to benefit? Jared Goff. Everybody talks about one of the ways that this offense works the most like a machine, the deadliest, is when you give Jared Goff time to throw, when you give him a clean pocket. And Kevin Zeitler, he is a much better pass blocker than Jonah Jackson ever was at any point in his career. And it's all borne out by the numbers. Kevin Zeitler, I mentioned the pressures and the sack stats. Last season, he was the second highest rated PFF guard in terms of pass blocking. So this is going to be a hell of an offensive line, and it's going to be even cheaper than if you kept Jonah Jackson. And we're going to get into it in the next segment. Jonah Jackson was probably your worst offensive lineman last year, at least as starters. Some people might disagree, but when you're the worst on a good offensive line, it's not too much shame in that. And he was the least durable. Kevin Zeitler definitely fills a lot of needs, and I'm certainly excited about this one. KG, did you about fall out of your chair when you heard $6 million for 1 year?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was on heavies when the news broke, man. We were all excited. This is an absolute steal, because even though it's a 1 year deal and he's an older player, he could have easily got $10 million out on the market. He is one of the best pass blockers in the league, period. I think, excuse me if I'm misquoting the stat, but I think Jonah Jackson had like a 5.5% pass block rate, and Kevin Zeitler's is in the 3 percentile. So definitely an upgrade at the position, and I think it also speaks to the versatility of Graham Glasgow, them being confident that he can play that left guard spot. You slide in Kevin Zeitler and you keep this train rolling. That also allows them flexibility to still go get your guard in the draft, but it doesn't have to be a first round pick.
Yes.
So
here's the whole thing. What do I always go back to? Dan Campbell saying in 2021, you got to prepare like you're going to lose every starter.
Yeah.
We're talking about these 2 guys here in the offensive line, right? Because what does it make better? It makes Dan Skipper, who we signed, better. It makes, who are the young guys?
Colby Sorsdahl.
Sorsdahl and the other dude that stepped in, right? It makes these guys better. But also, too, preparation-wise and just with everything that's come out, especially with the Cam Sutton, you look at the move on the DBs and stuff like this, when it's in homes you trust.
Yeah.
He's got a full finger on whatever the culture. Now, that controls what goes out of there. I mean, life is happening around them, but the fact is, are they being parental? And, do you see that they're ahead of it?
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely
in every aspect. So he knows that he's going to replenish it with talent, because that's what he says in the draft of what they need. But they're plugging and playing in different ways.
Yeah.
And whenever at the end of the day it ends up financially beneficial, like it's a win-win.
I also just think about the times last year where we didn't have our full complement of offensive line. I think the full roster only played 5 or 6 games that year. They got healthy towards the end of the season, but they didn't play a whole lot of football during the season together, all the starters together. So having somebody that's durable like that plays almost 1,000 snaps every season, like that,
forget about, you're replacing the least durable guy with the most durable guy.
Yeah. Hey, and trust me, we're gonna get into that a little bit more, because I've got even more numbers on durability of Kevin Zeitler and even of some more players that we all know and love as well. And DCP1, before we go to break, this is making my heart happy. because he's obviously a PFF fan like myself. 3 of the top 5 offensive interior linemen. Yes, they do have that if you include Frank Ragnow, who is the number 1 rated center according to PFF. 2 top 10 on the defensive interior. You're slightly wrong. 2 of the top 11. DJ Reader was 11th. Lee McNeil was 7th. But Aiden Hutchinson was top 10 when it comes to edge rushers. So at least when it comes to the trenches, PFF certainly likes the Detroit Lions. And I didn't even mention they had the number 1 rated tackle last season in Penei Sewell and the number 9 rated tackle in Taylor Decker. So shout out to the trenches and the Detroit Lions, specifically on the offensive line. And Kevin Zeitler, one of the best signings, at least on paper, at least when it comes to initial reaction. And I think it'll bear out when the season goes in, that Brad Holmes has ever made. D-Mac, before we get into this a little bit more, tell us about Swiss Insurance.
Good news and bad news. Flannel, bad news, insurance rates going up across the board in Michigan. But the good news is Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call my buddy Mark today at Swiss Insurance, 248-800-4177, or visit SwissINS.com and tell them Woodward Sports we sent you.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Football season is officially over and spring training is right around the corner. However, Jack Labrador is 24/7, 365 days a year. Learn how to play now on your phone at jacklabrador.gg. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. And remember that once you go Jack, you never go back. Go to jacklabrador.gg. Welcome back to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network, cruising on into hour 2, as Neil Rule always says. Neil Rule will be back next week. He's got an NCAA tournament to attend to and call. Shout out to the Oakland Grizzlies, by the way, and man, wouldn't that be something if they were to actually upset Kentucky? But we'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow. But Kevin Zeitler, a man that we talked about at length in the last segment, we heard from him. Matt Broder, our esteemed Lions beat
Wake Up
reporter,
Woodward.
and also
8 to 10.
from
Damn
on,
right.
on a Wake Up Woodward. That man does it all. He asked Kevin Zeitler a very, I would say, important and pertinent question, and this is what Kevin Zeitler, the man himself, had to say.
Hey, Kevin, welcome to Detroit. I know you played with many great linemen, one of which is Joe Thomas, who seems to never miss any games. You seem to be following in those footsteps. What is being healthy and keeping your body healthy and being available to the team mean to you? How much pride do you take in that?
Oh, it's everything. The biggest, thing you can contribute to this league is availability. Like, no one cares why you're not on the field. You need to be out on the field. So luckily I've had a great body team, great trainers throughout all the way from the start of my career that taught me great habits that I've, for the most part, I've been lucky enough to avoid anything major and stay healthy and keep moving and keep going.
And that was Kevin Zeitler, our newest addition, our guard who just signed for 1 year, $6 million. Pro Bowler last year, and as he mentioned and as we touched on in the last segment, his durability has been flat out remarkable. In the last 9 seasons, he's played 15 or more games in all of them. I believe he's only missed 5 games in 9 seasons, and if you want to juxtapose that to Jonah Jackson, he's missed 9 in the last 2 seasons, and he also missed the NFC Championship game at San Francisco. So to me, Kevin Zeitler is not only a better player, at least at this stage of his career, than Jonah Jackson is at this stage, but he's also considerably more durable, or at least that's what the past history shows. And it seems to me that he's a guy that values that and does everything possible just with whatever all the training he does, probably his diet to make sure he can get on the field every single game. How valuable is that, D-Mac?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, the durability is everything, and the fact that, you know, it shows you. But Spenny, I'm looking at this guy. Isn't he 36?
34.
But and I know he's an offensive, but he looks good, doesn't he? Doesn't he look young? Like, I mean, fresh for an offensive lineman. Like, usually even, you know, a lot younger guys look a little bit more weathered.
Yeah, they do.
This guy that's a man. I was looking at a man. I was looking at somebody that's like, you're going to put him to the left of Penei Sewell and to the right of Frank Ragnow? And all the accolades coming off Pro Bowl and stuff like the focus there and stuff like this, wow. I don't know, Spenny. To me, like, he looked fresh.
Yeah.
Like, fresh and on point, and, you know, everything. Like, yes, listen to what this man says, and if you I guess we take care of yourself. What's his daily program? Because he doesn't look like that. Did he not look?
Yeah,
he looked more like a tight end to me than he did like than the offensive lineman. I don't know, Spenny. You're the line guru.
Yeah, no, he looks like he's in good shape, and he definitely was great last year. He had the best year of his career last year. So you're getting a guy, like Sam said, who is an absolute monster when it comes to protecting the passer. And when Jared Goff looked at one of his worst games was that Thanksgiving Day game against Green Bay, when they were getting all of that pressure from the interior offensive line, when Tavondre Campbell and Rashawn Gary were getting in and getting pressure on Jared Goff from the middle. It's not going to happen with a guy like Zeitler in there. Like, he is going to protect Jared Goff from the interior.
Where did he go to college?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
See, Kenny, I got all the good questions. I got none of the answers.
You got
good
him.
questions.
And to your point, like Frank Ragnow, he's 27, and look all the injuries he's had. You know, so for him to be 34 and in the shape that he's in, like I said,
well, and then Frank looks a little wet. Like, you know what I mean? Frank looks like he's been in on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's been the center for the Lions for a few years.
Surprise, he went to Wisconsin. So.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
Right? So Midwest. Oh, yeah. I love it.
Oh, just that like, you know, he's the guy that feeds you pizza even if you don't want pizza.
Think about the pass lane. Right, so if this is his bread and butter, right, because we already got Penei pushing guys 5 yards deeper,
Yep.
but it just like to open up the vision for Jared in here, not to get pressure, but not to get knocked down.
Yeah, protecting the middle is definely key.
That's
because if
the
Jared
new,
Goff
right?
gets pressure from the middle, he doesn't perform as well. So
the
you
new
wanna protect him
NFL
there.
is pressure in the D-tap, right? Chris Jones,
Yep,
disruption through the middle. You know, I know it's guys defensive ends, but it's stunts and it's all that stuff. You see it get shoring it up.
Yeah.
So when you look at our team, Flannel, and you got Zeitler and you got Glasgow and you got Ragnow, bro. Who else? Right? That's not even putting Penei and Decker in there.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean,
who's the like? Honestly, when you're when you got an argument that, you know, and that Taylor Decker might be the weak link on your line, because, you know, Glasgow on the inside, but like, just argument's sake, that's how great to what you said earlier on a great offensive line being the worst isn't a bad thing.
Yes. I would personally probably say Glasgow is the weak link on this offensive line. If you want to say
right. But the argument, who else would you say second? You're not going to say anybody on the middle or the right, are you?
I mean, Zeitler or Decker, but we're that's neither here nor there.
But what I'm saying, Sam, it's okay to bring this up, saying it's a good problem to have.
A great problem to have.
It's like I'm playing my guys and they're all in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, I got 5 starters in NHL, 2019, and they're all in the 90s.
Well, it's like when people think that I'm hating on Jonah Jackson when I say he was their weakest offensive lineman last year. There's context to this, and obviously we know the run game seemed to function better when Jonah Jackson was out there. The team seemed to function better, but there was also who was behind him. You had guys like Ayusike or Colby Sorsdahl. So that matters as well. I just think with this season, the offensive line actually managed to, at least on paper, get even better than it was last year.
Yeah.
And we were talking about pressure from the interior. I mean, the Green Bay Packers, they have guys like, Devontae Wyatt and Kenny Clark. And then you look at the Bears, they could do some stunts with like Dexter or Montez Sweat. And then the Vikings just got a couple of edge rushers as well. So they're going to run into that brick wall, and his name is Kevin Zeitler. And you know what else? He's going to be out there every single game. At least that is what history tells you.
I got real quick, right? And I'll ask each of you real quick. Do you think that these specific moves that were made were specifically in response to the division? To what problems you had with the Packers, what you're like, you know what I know you're bigger picturing it, but because I sort of see that too, right? This is the way that you're going to have to control this division first. So again, you're not looking too far ahead, even though you're planning that far, but you're going to take care of business. I'm telling you, man, in 2 years, this is going to be the hottest division.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even mention Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary, destroyed the Lions at Ford Field, but having another offensive lineman who can pass block like Kevin Zeitler can, that is never a bad thing. And, oh, by the way, do you know who else has proven to be extraordinarily durable over his career? Penei Sewell has missed 1 game in 3 seasons. Graham Glasgow played all 17 last year. Frank Ragnow, despite moving...
3 toes.
Right, despite the 3 toes, despite... Despite the fear that maybe moving forward he's not going to be a 17-game-a-year guy. In 5 of 6 seasons, not counting 2021, he's only missed 6 games. Taylor Decker between 2018 and 2020 missed 1. So these guys like Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker, they've had their 1 season aberration, although I think Decker had one early on in his career. But for the most part lately, they've all been pretty damn durable. And Kevin Zeitler, there's never been an instance ever in his career where he hasn't been. Same with Penei Sewell, although he's young. So hopefully this offensive line is even better than it was last year. And they also play more games together than they did last year. I would take the over on that. I would take that they play at least 13, 14 games as a full unit. I know that's a lot to ask because anything can happen, but history will show that all of these guys, for the majority of their career, and Kevin Zeitler and Penei Sewell for the entirety of their career, have been on the upper percentile in terms of durable when it comes to NFL offensive linemen. So that is as important as even them playing well. And that is a fact. And coming up next, we're going to do a little bit more Lions talk because, man, this offseason is just flying along and it's been so much fun. And hopefully we're going to get even more fun. But first, I got to tell you about our new favorite sponsor, D-Mac.
I heard you were drinking vanilla shakes the other day.
I was.
So on brand.
I was. Hey, the cookies and cream. They didn't have vanilla.
The chocolate one was good, D-Mac.
What's that?
Chocolate one was really good.
Yeah. I happened to tune in when you guys were doing that.
I felt bad for you, D-Mac.
No, you didn't. You were so happy over here in your little cheesy grin.
I was happy.
Don't worry. I'm going to go because there's deals, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there's 100% deals. When it comes to chicken sandwiches, I have got the sleeper. It's the Shake Shack Chicken Shack Sandwich. Delicious. Try the Chicken Shack Sandwich for free with a $10 purchase. Grab a shake and crispy crinkle fry, and your Chicken Shack will be free. Just use the code word Woodward in person, online, or download the Shake Shack app today.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi every other Monday. Welcome back to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network, and I think all of us in this room are really enjoying what's been going on in the offseason with the moves that Brad Holmes has made.
First, let me chime in because update from our very own Matt Broder, who was responding. The team has not made any official announcement or moves yet regarding Cam Sutton. Likely we'll wait to see what happens turns into, but the PR team said to stay tuned. They'll be providing clear updates shortly. So stay here to Woodward Sports. Broder's on it. Everybody's on it. We're talking about Cam Sutton down. Spenny, you want to recap what happened?
Yeah, Cam Sutton has a warrant issued for his arrest by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department in Florida. It is the charge is domestic violence by strangulation, and the incident happened on March 7th.
Oh yeah, that's quite a bit of time ago, as I've been seeing in the chat. But yeah, once the Lions make a decision, or once we hear more, we will definitely do many segments about it, because it is pertinent to what the Lions season will be like. Because Cam Sutton was looking like he was going to be maybe a number 2 or a slot corner type player. He was going to be an important piece on this team, and if he's not available, if we will cross that bridge when we get there. But do you know who is available for the Detroit Lions?
Who is that?
And this is hey, thank you, KG. I'm glad you asked. Pretty much every single other starter on this roster. Here's why I mentioned this, because, and I heard this on, actually, I'll just say it because I got to give credit. I heard this on the Valeni show with Rico last night. I tuned into that for a brief moment before I turned right back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Valeni mentioned something about this upcoming draft on to where it can be pretty much best player available. Yeah. With the Kevin Zeitler signing, it was like maybe a guard was something that you needed, even a starter next year. But right now, when you look at the Lions roster, you pretty much have your starting lineup almost completely set. Maybe the second wide receiver, but even that, J-Mo's gotta take that step forward. And I even consider the biggest J-Mo hater ever. Think that he will, for the record, before you guys jump all over me. So the question was asked: will Brad Holmes, if he sees some guy that is not gonna fall to 29? Like, I'll give an example. I know KG, you like this guy, like a Jared Verse.
Yes,
if
sir.
They decide, I don't want to just cut it with just James Houston and Marcus Davenport on the opposite of Hudge, or maybe it's just one of those you want more pass rushers because you can never have too much. Will Brad Holmes make that move? Spenny, I'll go to you first. Is that something that you think the Lions will do? Trade up to get a player maybe in the top 20, top 15, maybe 20 to 23? And does the fact that they don't have too many glaring needs, does that change things?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely something that I'm not holding past Brad Holmes. We've seen him do it before. We've seen him trade up in the first round, and we've seen him trade down in the first round. So if he's got a guy that he wants, a guy that he likes, someone on his board that he think is better than everybody else and is still there where he can go out and get him, he's going to do it. We've seen him do it before, so I'm not going to hold it past him at all.
No, I'm trying to think who it could be, because I'm thinking maybe Dallas Turner or Jared Verse as an edge rusher. Maybe if one of those wide receivers he wants to go get, but
you think he'll move up for a receiver?
I don't, though, because
he's done it before.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the thing. Think about where we were a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right? What was the point of contention? The point of contention was, well, we'll see in free agency and trades and whatever, which way he's going to go in the draft. What he's done, he's solidified every position we've talked about. Now, not only at 29, is it okay to draft a wide receiver in the first round, or do what you've done in the past and prove to move up? You can do anything you like. He's walking here in the draft, walking around with every utensil, every utility, every appliance that he wants to operate at his disposal. There is nothing that you can't bring up and say he could not do.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, whether it's that player. If you're going by his past, he likes guys, he goes and gets guys.
He does.
And what he's done in this offseason has enabled him to do that again. So hey, if he moves up to 12 and drafts a wide receiver or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say running back, but I mean, everybody would lose their mind anyways.
Yeah.
But you're going to, and you're not going to be
outrageous.
happy with what he does. Can we at least just go, okay, like, he's addressed everything.
No, he has.
I think even for Lions fans who I think have, and I'll include myself in this, I've done it. I think everybody in this room to some extent has done it, except maybe you, D-Mac. You've been pretty trusting of a Brad Holmes. During an initial draft pick or an initial signing, you're kind of like, ooh, I don't know about that, or lack of signing when you go to the trade deadline last year. But I think this season, given what's already been done in free agents, given the fact that I think their starting lineup, barring injury, is pretty much set, I don't know if there's anything that Brad Holmes could do that would make anybody really upset. I see something from Hoof Hearted, another interesting idea. Leatu Latu, low 20s, or I think by low 20s he means like 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
He's a guy that might not fall to 29, but if he's a guy that Brad Holmes really likes, maybe he'll move up a couple spots to 20, 21, 22. Maybe he'll see if the 20th pick is already made and Leatu Latu has not been picked, maybe that's where he's like, ooh, I might have to go up to 23. I would love that. I think Leatu.
Here's the
Latu's
one
a
thing,
beast.
and I would say to Broder, who it's because it's not somebody who's talent, whatever. It's the interview. If you haven't learned anything about this, that puts you over the edge. I go back to Jack Campbell. I go back to their guys. So look and see, Sam. You could be absolutely right. If I was going to place a bet, what would Brad Holmes do if he's going to do something? I think it is move up to the 20s and draft, an O lineman or whatever. Get one of these big guys, but But I'd be listening for the next month or so in the next few weeks as different things come out. Who are they talking about like attitude? Just like the same thing as I know they've addressed the defensive line, but in the draft, when you hear a guy come out and say, I fuck with them, they fuck with me. And, they get like that, dude, because isn't that on brand? Just like your vanilla milkshake. I mean, it's on brand.
That's another example of a guy who maybe will be drafted in the low 20s, like 21, 22, but might not go up to 29, like a Jershawn Newton, the guy who made that quote. Maybe that's his guy. And I know it's sort of the elephant in the room. Maybe come draft time, the Lions do need a corner a little bit more. Yeah. Do they? I got to say it. Do they at 29, do they stand pat and go after, if they decide they want a corner, do they want Kool-Aid McKinstry? Do they want Kamari Lassiter? TJ Tampa? Or do they decide, I got to move up to get Nate Wiggins or Quinyon Mitchell or something like that? I think at this point, I know the Cam Sutton situation might change things a little bit. You've got your starters. You don't have any glaring needs. Even at the cornerback position, we have Amik Robertson, who had a good year last year, and even cross your fingers about Emmanuel Mosley, although I'm obviously not counting on it. Right. But still, they don't have it. If they draft a corner, I think everyone's going to be like, okay, fine. If they draft a guard, fine. If they draft a wide receiver, fine. If they draft an edge or an interior, fine. I mean, would anybody have any qualms with any of those picks in the room?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, and I think it's more about interested in drafting the person. Yes, the position and that, but the person that comes with it, that's the intriguing part to me.
Mm-hmm. Brad Holmes been a man of his word the whole time. If he's going by what he said he's gone by, he's using free agency to fill needs and the draft for talent.
And Kenny, what do we want? What are we watching?
Yeah, he's filled
all
the needs.
He's serving meat and potatoes, bro. I just had some prime rib and potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's talent. So that's the thing. Who is the talent?
Yep. Also, trading back is more of a real possibility than it's ever been. Because
he's got everything in front of him.
Lions fans need to prepare themselves. He may trade out for a better package with picks. So I'm not mad at that either.
And Sam, you know what it is? And here's why I'm jaded. Right, to the fact of what you brought is because when I put my faith in something that I say, in Holmes I trust, and Eiserman I trust, whatever like this, because where I learned that was it took 3-4 years for all of us to trust Scotty Bowman. The same thing like that until you realize you're 5 moves ahead. Mm-hmm. So just trust the process and enjoy the journey, and look where it got me in that. That's why I can just check out, but also see the writing's there. Yeah. Because all you're doing is listening to are they doing what they tell you?
Yeah.
And when it comes to Brad Holmes, he's absolutely is.
Everything he said, and he's gotten it done for under what we thought we would have to shell out.
What was the thing?
money-wise.
Sam
So-
started out. You got better. You got a two for one
one.
buy.
Yeah.
You get one. Oh, it's cooking, like all the great teams do.
The two of them combined make
That's what
significantly less than Jonah Jackson will make.
Isn't
next
that
year.
great?
Insane.
It's crazy.
How insane.
That's GMing right there. He
And
is.
for even the biggest Jonah Jackson fan, going back to that, in the entire Lions fan base, you'd even be like 17 million. Ooh. It was kind of like the Tremaine Edmonds situation with you, Spetty, when he went to the Bears. It's like you wanted the Lions to get Tremaine Edmonds, and I didn't blame you for that. But when you saw his contract with the Bears, you're like, ooh, that's don't know about that.
Yeah.
So have fun, Los Angeles Rams.
Have fun, Los Angeles Rams. And I don't know if Jonah Jackson has any pets, but if he wants to get them some supplies with all that money he made, he can go to Premier Pet Supply, because Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. They got the same prices and all the convenience of the online big box retailers. And one major difference, they're family and locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. They got over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. And same day local curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com. And also, let me tell you about the quarterback challenge presented by Shake Shack. Shake Shack and Woodward Sports want to remind you it's always football season. How would you like to win 2 free tickets to this season's home opener? It's the Shake Shack Quarterback Challenge. If you could throw it on a rope, you could be at the home opener. Register today for your chance to win at any Shake Shack location. Go to woodwardsports.com or scan the QR code right there to register. And again, you have a chance of winning 2 free tickets to this year's home opener. It's the Shake Shack Quarterback Challenge presented by Shake Shack and Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did. They added Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Ave, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford and Dearborn today. LesStanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Together, let's drive. And we're driving into about the second half of the second hour of Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network. And we talked about philosophically what Brad Holmes is going to do in the 2024 NFL draft. Could you see him trading up for a guy that he really, really wants, a Brad guy, as you would say? Could you see him trading back, or could you see him standing pat at 29? And as I mentioned before, the luxury of this draft is the Lions don't really have any glaring needs that are going to necessarily need to contribute heavily this season. But if there's one position where not a whole lot of movement has been made this free agency, where maybe you thought there's a possibility, it's the wide receiver position. I understand that. Go ahead.
Well, no. Yeah. Before you start, Sam, I just wanted you go on this, but does this not, Cam Sutton, change everything to the depth in the room? And I know you've addressed it and stuff, but does this not automatically make it a priority?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, you're right. As far as wide receiver and stuff like that, that still is a priority, but does this not, because this was one of the areas of concern?
Yeah, and if you haven't heard, Cam Sutton, if he has been issued a warrant for his arrest by the Hillsborough County or Sheriff's Department. It is officially for domestic battery and strangulation. The incident happened on March 7th, and he has not been in contact with police. The police and trying to get in contact with him and haven't been able to. So they released the warrant on social media today.
You know what? Actually, I mentioned wide receivers, but I think this is a perfect time to pivot a little bit, as a Ross Geller would say when they were moving the couch and friends.
Well, Sam, because you are the creator of around here, as if with new information, I'm allowed to change my opinion. So I'm just trying to allow you to stay as vanilla and on brand as you like to be.
No, but that's an excellent.
Sorry, Ross, go ahead.
No, thank you. That's an excellent point, though, because, and I'm going to go to you, Spenny, the probably the preeminent draft expert in this room right now. Sorry, KG.
No,
and sorry to myself.
Of course, it's Spenny.
Of course, it's Spenny. But does this whole Cam Sutton situation? I know it's fresh. I know that we're still waiting to hear all the facts. Is it possible that corner does become more of a need in the draft?
It's very possible. I mean, you look at what Brad Holmes did in free agency and recently in free agency. Maybe the signing of Amik Robertson was because he knew about the Cam Sutton situation, or because they were already aware of the Cam Sutton situation. So that's why they felt they had to go out and get another cornerback. They obviously re-signed Emmanuel Mosley, so if he can get used to his glass bones and paper skin and play some games, then maybe he'll be able to help. But they have Emmanuel Mosley.
Spencer, apologize.
I'm sorry.
Okay, a little aggressive.
Every night he breaks his legs, but it's if he can play, that is a guy who can play on the outside. Amik Robertson can play on the outside. Obviously, Carlton Davis can play on the outside. Would they still like to get a young cornerback if the Cam Sutton stuff does unfortunately unfold to be as true and it's actually what he did, which we don't know yet, innocent until proven guilty, but it's not looking great for him. But yeah, it's very possible. They met with Kool-Aid. They met with Quinyon Mitchell. They have guys on their board that they like at the cornerback position. And Kool-Aid is in very, very, very good possibility of being there at 29. So that very well could be the pick.
Yeah, and with Kool-Aid, I understand that there's some question marks about him. But at one point, he was the consensus #1 quarterback prospect for this draft. And then obviously, as everything's played out, he's maybe like the 4th or 5th at this point, if that even. So there's definitely a possibility that he falls down to 29. And of course, there's still Stephon Gilmore out there. I'm not calling for it. I'm just saying, depending on how the Cam Sutton contract will shape out, if he gets released, by the way, that's a big if. We shall see how that goes as well. But even the whole secondary, because when you thought that you knew that you were going to have Cam Sutton, I was actually thinking, man, even this cornerback room is a little bit more deep than I expected, especially if Emmanuel Mosley comes back, which might free it up for Brian Branch to play more box safety as opposed to slot corner, which were the majority of his snaps last year, even though he excelled at that. Does that change the safety strategy? Do they consider maybe a veteran Micah Hyde in free agency, which his AAV was like $3.7 million. I know he's not what he used to be, but like a veteran guy with a young safety room, with a cornerback room that may have lost one of their perceived starters. I don't know. I think when we talked about them having no needs, maybe corner is a somewhat of a need, because like I said, I like Amik Robertson. I'm higher on him than even some. I think that he could be the cornerback too. I'm not saying it would be the most ideal situation in the world, but he is more than capable. But Cam Sutton, whether you like him or not, he was miscast last year, and I think this season, if Carlton Davis gives you what we expect from him, Cam Sutton was going to have a role which fit him a little bit better. And oh, by the way, the pass rush would have been better, which means, or at least on paper is better, which means you won't have to blitz as much, which means all of the corners not having wide receivers on islands anymore. So unfortunately, this Cam Sutton thing, it could shake up everything in the secondary.
I think they would have still added to the room regardless, but maybe instead of waiting to a later round for like a Max Melton, sorry if I'm butchering his name, but a Max Melton or somebody of that nature, maybe they do move it up to second, maybe first round. So who knows?
Yeah, there's like Kamari Lassiter, TJ Tampa, or even in a later round, a Cam Hart from Notre Dame. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's probably
like Bernardo Green a lot out of Florida State.
Absolutely. But maybe even if it's just as a depth piece, because I know you mentioned it and you joke around about it. Emmanuel Mosley, if you're counting on him, unfortunately, I have a bridge to sell you. Yeah. He's the last time you saw him on the field in his
5 years ago.
In his 5 games in 2022, whoopee, right? In his 11 games in 2021, he was damn good.
Yeah.
He was locked down.
Got to go off what we seen though.
But unfortunately,
2 snaps.
Yeah, that was rough. We have no idea how the trajectory of the season would have been different. Hey, the season was still a success, but maybe Cam Sutton, maybe those number ones wouldn't have burned the Lions as often as they did. But yeah, this news is all very, very fresh when it comes to Cam Sutton. We heard about it right when we were basically starting on air, so that does change some things. I thought before the whole Cam Sutton news, and still we got to let it play out, that if there was any position of maybe a somewhat need or hasn't been addressed, it would be wide receiver. Yeah. But I don't know. Corner. I think corner has to shoot up to number one, at least given what we know so far.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Kenny. My initial right reaction when it was brought up about moving back, right? About like if there was a year that I could see them trading out of the first round to acquire, to get positions of value and talent that they deem right, you know, whether it's second, thirds, or next year, who knows what it is. Because is there that guy out there, right, that you say, like, there's a couple guys that, if he's around, maybe we move up and like it. But I don't hear, well, we got to have this guy, we got to have that guy. Right. Yeah. Am I wrong?
It's because a lot of depth just in general in this draft.
But like, where is this the one where Brad says if I add 2 more pieces that of guys that I can get that I like and I know I can get them here, then, you know, like the value in that way. He just sort of proved it in the signing, you know, of Zintler and Glasgow, you know, for the value of under what Jonah Jackson got. You know what I'm saying? So it just seems like more than not, because that person or that piece ain't out there, you know, because we know he'll move up like the Jameson Williams. Yeah. Right? Is there that flash piece to add? Is there, like, I don't hear, Spenny, is there that guy out there that you have to have that it plays out, other than it's sort of a caveat piece, isn't it? Yeah. Or am I missing it?
No, you're right. You're right. It's tough. I don't know.
So in that way, right, you look at in those tough sort of times, but there's value in there because there's culture guys or guys you can get. Because what are the other things? What is one great thing? And let's look at Malcolm Rodriguez, for example, right? And you were talking about Cam Sutton being put in the right position. Well, Malcolm got put in the right position last year, did he not? Special teams and backup linebacker, and look at him, did he not thrive? Like, that's what
thrive. Having a great
thrive other than starting.
You expect him to be a Pro Bowler?
Like thrive in that role playing 6th round position. Thrive as he was one of the best of what he did. Was he not, or was there a better guy, Sam, on, you know, Kansas City and stuff like this? Like, what I'm saying is he wasn't put in a position of need. He was put in a position that he could excel in. Is that? Or did I not watch the same season?
No, 6th-round picks on most teams in the NFL don't even make the roster.
Exactly.
No, 6th-round picks on most teams in the NFL
So what
don't get
I'm
contract.
saying is the caveat pieces, right? The support staff is just as important. Who's one of the most important guys on your team who just got friggin' voted to being president of your union?
Jalen Reeves-Maybin.
Right, the guy who makes Pro Bowls, and guys who's like the silent assassin, you know. But how much and what did I see in the playoffs when he had to step in, nickel, whatever, like this, making tackles, making things, making plays. Like, these are the guys that you have to caveat. So that's what I'm saying is that those guys aren't usually your 1st round guys. It's usually your 2nd, 3rd, you know, like.
But that's what plays into Brad's hand, though, because he is so good in the later rounds. And in this particular year, there's names, but there's also more value in later rounds.
That's what I'm saying. So isn't it more valuable to amass picks to get these guys? And then I'll go to Neil and say, and rookie contracts, Neil, rookie contracts.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because even the wide receiver position, you've got your number 2 in-house, or at least you think, with a Jameson Williams. I haven't been as high on him as some, but he did. Of course, you guys know, but we did see last season he made quite a few big plays and big moments, and you even saw in a couple of games he got more targets. I think he had 5 catches against the Broncos and then another 4 or 5 in one of the Vikings games. So you saw some development. It's just so maybe the wide receiver position was never as much of a need, but the cornerback position now, and I got a name that I've been seeing in the chat that I had completely taken off at least my board of guys that the Lions could potentially draft, and it broke my heart to do so. Is a guy like Mikey Sanders still now in play?
Could be.
I'm just saying if you
not in the first round, but absolutely he's in play.
But like, and I get it, Amik Robertson, he's more like he's more of an outside corner, and Brian Branch, you kind of already have your slot corner in house, but just with the secondary situation, how it could shake up everything, as I had mentioned before, maybe they want Brian Branch to do more box safety, maybe they want like Amik or maybe now Amik and Carlton Davis. And Mikey Sanders still can be that slot corner type. And he definitely seems like, at least from the outside world to me, a culture fit. I'm a little biased because I'm a Michigan fan, but I don't think he's off the table anymore. No. That's what I'm saying. And even the biggest Sanders still fan probably in the world was like, we don't need him.
Right.
But now Cam Sutton.
Some fans were just saying first round. He wouldn't be a first round talent, but absolutely he's in play for second or third round.
Yeah, he can't really. I mean, he can, but he's not really an every down outside corner, and I don't think he ever really projects to be that. But
hey, Sam, I know that it probably breaks his heart, the fact that you're not his biggest fan, but I just want to send a shout out to JMO.
Yes.
The fact that Spenny, KG, and DMAC have been as high as JMO.
Damn right.
So there you go. And high on JMO. So don't worry about Sam Flannel when it comes to that. I'm sure that it really bothered him and that really set him straight. So
we rep enough for him, so
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Fine.
Yeah, no, Chuck Brewer talking about Sanders still. No, he is a Branch clone. I love him, but a bad fit in Detroit. All I'm saying is that with Cam Sutton potentially not being on the team anymore, my first choice would obviously be get an outside corner, but I don't think Sanders still is off the table anymore. I do agree with you that in a perfect world with Cam Sutton, he wasn't a fit at all. I'm just asking the question. But there is no question about where we did our remote show yesterday at Planet Fitness. Man, the facility in Redford was absolutely immaculate. I heard we got some good reviews from them, and I will go back any day of the week to that Planet Fitness. And you can visit any Planet Fitness all across the United States and Metro Detroit. And if you want, get a black card. Get a black card, or you can get a regular membership starting at only $10 a month. But with a black card, you know what you get? The perks of going to any Planet Fitness across these United States anytime you want it, anytime you're traveling, or whether you're just doing a job on the opposite end of where you usually do. Like Neil Rule yesterday got his workout in at Redford, even though his regular Planet Fitness is the one near the Woodward Sports Studio. So Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What's better than crispy chicken and pizza while watching your favorite team play? Let me tell you about Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Their food is amazing and their locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit. A perfect takeout option featuring hand-breaded fried chicken, New York pizza, fresh salads, sides, and more. Check out their full menu and find the closest Soroki's near you at Sorokis.com. That's SAROKIS.com. Soroki's and Woodward Sports. Now that's crispy.
Oh, yes, it is crispy, man. Whenever they bring Soroki's into the office, I pretty much...
Soroki's is good.
Oh
my Soroki.
It's actually like probably dangerous for my the spreads that they've brought in. I swear I've had a couple of 5,000
Dangerous
calorie
for what,
lunches.
Sam? Finish the sentence.
Just for my waistline.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That sounded.
I mean, it's coming up on summer. We know how you feel.
Hey,
those flannel speedos, they're
no,
at the flannel house.
That is not true. That is erroneous.
I don't know the comfort of him, but he's always for the fashion statement.
Hey, that is erroneous. Erroneous. But anywho, you know what? Speaking of summer, we should do a little quick segment on our Detroit Tigers. And this has been in the prep for a while, but I think it's actually kind of an interesting question because you could argue that Jace Young, in terms of young position players, has been the star of spring training, and we all got a glimpse of what Jackson Jobe could do. What those two guys have in common was those were the last two Al Avila draft picks. So
forget about that. Those are great baseball names.
Yeah,
Jace Jobe, Jackson Jobe.
Yeah, absolutely. A little,
those are great wrestling names.
A little alliteration. You cannot beat the alliteration. But was Al Avila? Do you actually have to give him some credit for some things?
You do.
Are these like the Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Bob Quinn picks for Al Avila, if that makes sense? Kind of like you hate what he did. He helped destroy the franchise, but there's a couple good players that linger on into the brighter days.
Too early to tell, but if they do, you got to give credit where credit's served. It's just sort of the departing gift.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, Matt Manning, Alex Faedo, Casey Mize, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Bo Brisky, and Tarek Skubal were also all Al Avila draft picks. And I understand that, and I'm not going to be an Al Avila apologist because what he got for J.D. Martinez and Justin Verlander was pretty much a bag of bones. Although Jake Rogers, a little better than we thought. But, Franklin Perez doesn't play. Dawel Lugo.
Retired.
He's terrible when he played. Alcantara, what was it? Sergio Alcantara.
Would it have been better if we got Baez in a trade for that, or is it worse that it was a free agent signing?
It's worse that it was a free agent.
Yeah,
okay.
More money.
So it would have been
right.
You could have you'd understand how you could have ate that. I was just sort of because it always comes back to Almago.
I've always said this. You can go back to some of the past shows. I've said that Al Avila didn't pick bad players. That wasn't necessarily his problem. It was development of young players and also free agency and trades. Trades he were absolutely ass at. Free agency, the one time he got to spend money, we got El Mago, But the young players that he picks aren't necessarily bad, but they just weren't developing them at the rate that we thought that we would see. But now
that other teams were.
Exactly. But now, Scott Harrison here, he's trying to revamp the farm system down there. And a little bit more focus is put on developing these young players. So I think it's going to turn out for the better. But Al Avila wasn't all terrible. He was terrible, but not all terrible.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, the free agency, the trades, the El Mago deal, that was bad from the start because you know me, I'm a Moneyball guy. Do you get on base? Javi Baez at no point in his career has ever really gotten on base at a consistent level. Even in his good seasons, his on base percentage would usually be about 30 to 35 points higher than his batting average, which is not good, by the way. Which is not good. We've seen him in his couple years be probably the worst everyday position player in all of baseball. And then we all know what happened with Eduardo Rodriguez. When he was on the mound, he was fine.
Right,
but AWOL.
Yeah.
And anywho, that's neither here nor there.
No explanation. We still never got an explanation as to why he dipped like that, right?
And I think one of the most heartbreaking things of all was Justin Verlander. He's going into the Hall of Fame as an Astro, whether you like it or not. And it sucks. It sucks.
It's a damn shame.
And what did we get for him? A whole lot of nothing. And then J.D. Martinez, the season 2018, the Red Sox win the World Series, and J.D. Martinez finishes second in the MVP to his teammate Mookie Betts. So you could argue that both Justin Verlander and J.D. Martinez, I don't even think it's arguable, you traded them, and they played better than they played their best baseball with their next teams. I understand that Justin Verlander had that MVP Cy Young season, but as a whole, Justin Verlander's been a better pitcher in Houston. So, and he's won World Series, and he's won a couple Cy Youngs. So, yeah, but hell, Al Avila did draft some okay players. Even Spencer Torkelson, I know he's the number 1 overall pick. If you want to have a little fun, look at some of the number 1 overall picks over the last even 20 years. There are no guarantees in the MLB. Has anybody heard of the name Brian Bullington?
No.
Matt Bush?
No.
Who else we got? Mark Appel?
No.
Brady Aiken? Let me see. Well, I'm not going to go to these guys because they could still succeed. But
okay. But just name, ones that. So Spencer Torkelson, right? We expect him to have a big year.
Yeah.
The way that he broke out. So we will won't. You're the only one who'll pass judgment on these guys. We won't. But what are some of the names that could to watch to see if they have a Torkelson year?
God, that's
Any
tough.
past first rounders that are in there? Like,
I mean, I'm looking at. Well, we had like Adley Rutschman, who was a number 1 overall pick recently, who broke out. I'm just looking at past number 1 overall picks who really. My point is that in the MLB, even I'm giving Alavila some credit for even getting Spencer Torkelson because there are 0.0 guarantees. There have been number 1.
Name some number 1s recently that are producing.
Dansby Swanson.
Okay.
Carlos Correa. Garrett Cole. Well, going back to Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg, but yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty. But Spencer Torkelson, if he continues,
no. But your point, would you say by looking at that is what is the hit ratio? It's probably what 1 and 3.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe, but it's not quite 2 and 3.
No, it's about half. There was a really good. There's a really good stretch of Carlos Correa, Garrett Cole, Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, and then skip a year, David Price, skip a year, Justin Upton. So that was a pretty. That was. I mean, that's a hell of a.
Yeah, but how is it lately? Like as far as if like Torque was what year 18?
Torque was 20, and then Henry Davis was 2021. I don't know if he's made the MLB yet. Casey Mize was up there as well. Adley Rutschman was 2019. Royce Lewis. 2017, and then Mickey Moniak in 2016.
So if you're using that, like the Alavila argument or whatever, not being as bad as that, at least you didn't miss like some other guys did on your first overall pick, and you actually have 2 guys there.
Yeah.
That still, Mize coming off surgery, we're still waiting to see.
Yeah. I mean, Mize. He could end up being a miss. I would like to think no. Not. I know Spenny that would crush your heart, and it would me as well.
Crush your soul because he's going to be a miss if he's not healthy.
Yeah,
if he's healthy,
really
he's a hit.
He's got the talent.
Agreed. It's not that he's not going to have whatever like that. The thing is if he's durable and then whatever comes back, whatever, and he can stay healthy, he will be good.
He was a phenom going into the draft, man. I was really excited about that pick.
He was the franchise.
Yeah.
And then, Riley Green's another one. I think so far, even though he's had injury issues, I would say he's been a net positive.
Spenny, do you agree with Hoof-Hearted Kate Upton's greater than Justin Upton?
I would agree with that.
Yeah, we all agree.
All day.
KG?
All day.
The Cat Daddy video is legendary.
Only Flannel disagrees.
Yeah,
Cat Daddy. Back in the Dizzle. That's like 10 years. That's like how long? That 15?
It's a while ago now.
20 years ago?
Yeah. No, not 20, but it's a while ago.
Damn.
We're getting old, man.
Probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Upton as a number 1 overall pick, he was good.
Yeah.
Hall of good. Not even Hall of very good.
Pretty good.
I say Hall of pretty good.
Yeah.
That is a perfect way to describe Justin Upton. Thank you, Spenny. When I'm struggling, you got my back.
All right, Hall of Great. I'll tell you what the Hall of
Yes.
Great is. Lady Jane's. Walk in Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience from any of the talented stylists. And get in there today, tomorrow at the latest, to enter for your chance to win the $50K Perfect Bracket Challenge. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss. With Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports has a new morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, myself, Flannel, Sam, that handsome guy in the middle, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit sports. Sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Or that very average-looking man in the middle, depending on how humble I'm feeling that day or not. Depending on the night that I had or the morning I had.
Talk your shit, Sam.
I'm all right. But anywho, do you know who probably is not all right now, unfortunately? Spenny, do you want to recap the people on the Cam Sutton situation? Because the chat is still just like...
Yeah, chat's going off about it. There's not much we can say or speak on because all the details have not come out exactly. But he has been issued a warrant for his arrest by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. The charges are domestic violence and strangulation. It is for Cameron Sutton. They were trying to contact him, the police were, the sheriffs were. They could not get into contact with him, so they had to issue the warrant on social media. And it is coming from an event that happened on March 7th around 5:30, 4:30 a.m., where the plaintiff or the victim, whose name is being withheld, had filed the arrest or filed the charges. And again, they are domestic violence and strangulation.
Yes, and I don't want to pass too many judgments. We did do a little bit of a segment on just in case, could we consider drafting a corner, whether or not Amik Robertson is good insurance at least. But for the most part, let's just see how it all plays out, because I'm definitely we've seen too many cases, and I'm not just saying this one, where everything is not what it seems. So until we find out, we will just leave it at that. But I definitely understand some of the conversations that are going on in the chat. It's certainly something that could affect the season for the Detroit Lions. We certainly shall see.
Who had that on their bingo card today?
Yeah.
Not even.
Not when I woke up.
Not even a little bit. Oh, here we go. Steve-O baby asked D-Mac, if Sam were to give you a flannel shirt, would you wear it or would you bury it? Darren, you are the CEO of Woodward Sports.
It's a good question, man.
He's the head of the PR department.
I'd have to take the sleeves off or something, make it sort of mankindish, so that I could, we would see. Yes, I would accept the gift.
Oh, thank you. You know what?
Yes.
I think I have
I don't think I could, it's boys medium. I don't think I fit into.
Extra medium.
It took me a while once I was staring at Sam when I initially that those were arms, not strings hanging from the shirt.
That's funny. That's funny. That's I can't even knock you for that one. That was good. Justin Reed signed Gilmore and draft Kool-Aid. Another reason why Brad maybe grabbed a couple of corners. It's everything. Things like that are on the table now.
How confusing will it be to have Kool-Aid on your team? Not only like drinking the Kool-Aid, but we got Kool-Aid, so it'd be like, hey, Kool-Aid said, no, I didn't. Wait, yeah, you did.
It's gonna be a battle for naming rights.
Oh yeah, Kool-Aid. I don't think Kool-Aid is his actual name, but you know what? That's all well and good. That's been his name since a long time.
You're breaking kayfabe, Sam.
Right. Yes.
You're that guy.
Yes.
You're getting the sign.
Yes, I am getting the sign. Spenny,
wrap it up.
We gotta do it again tomorrow.
Wrap that shit up.
Yes, and we will be back tomorrow. It's the exact same crew that is in here today because, Neil, that is actually the day of the Oakland, Kentucky basketball game. It'll be at night. We'll all be rooting for Oakland. We are all rooting for Oakland because we want to see our friend and colleague Neil Rule call even more games in the NCAA tournament because nobody deserves that more than him. While you're tuned into Woodward Sports, turn into Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Woodward Heavyweights hosted by Spencer Raxter and Easy from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And be sure to join us tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. after you watch Wake Up Woodward from 8 to 10. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Deuces.
Peace.